Hello everyone, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at vertical and horizontal translations, and we're also going to be looking at vertical and horizontal reflections. So let's take a look. Now, with the vertical translations uh, and horizontal, what you want to do is focus on the particular operation as far as uh, adding or subtracting, okay? Now, if it's a vertical translation, then your add and subtract would be outside of the parentheses, and uh, the x would not be included. If it's a horizontal translation, it would be inside the parentheses and next to your x or your unknown value here. Okay? So those are the most important things right there is understand that the vertical is outside the parentheses, goes up and down, and the horizontal is inside the parentheses and goes left and right. Now, the next thing you want to know is, well, if we're sliding up or down, is it going to be positive or negative, or left or right? So that's why I got this little grid here to help you out, because it can be kind of slightly confusing. But the vertical goes the way you think it would. Positive is up and negative is down. But the horizontal is a little bit opposite. Uh, the positive goes to the left and the negative goes to the right. So that's something to keep in mind. And one way to remember it is the one that's opposite has O in it, horizontal. Opposite, horizontal. So positive's going to go left and negative's going to go to the right. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. All right. So in this first example, we got a vertical translation up 2 units. So since it's up, we're going to put the positive uh, 2 to the x. So that's vertical translation. And 41, we got horizontal. So horizontal meaning it's going to go left to right. Now, horizontal translation to the right meaning we're going to use the negative operation. So we're going to do a -4 and we're going to put it close to the x with the parentheses because it's horizontal. So that would look like this. So we have the -4 next to the x in parentheses up here with the exponent. All right, let's take a look at an exponent with vertical translation. Okay, so vertical translation, meaning we're going down 5 units. Vertical, down, we're going to use the negative sign. So also, it's going to be outside of the parentheses. So it will look like this. We'll have our x, 3 to the x, minus 5. And notice how there's no parentheses. It's not up here with the exponent. It's just minus 5. Okay. Here's another vertical translation, going down 5 units. So it'll be the same thing. We're just going to go down and keep it outside the parentheses because it's vertical. X minus 5. All right. Here's another horizontal with the exponent here. We're going to the left. So remember, with left, you might think it's negative, but it's positive. So it's always helpful to check your little chart here to keep in mind which is which. So positive to the left here. All right, so that's going to get us 2 to the x plus 6. All right, and our last example here is horizontal translation, um, which means we'll go left to right, and we're going to put it in parentheses because it's horizontal. And since it's going to the right here, so that 3 units, what we're going to do is go ahead and put it in parentheses and put minus because right is minus. So we got 4 times x minus 3 for horizontal translation. Okay? And that is horizontal and vertical translations. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show you vertical and horizontal reflections. So you want to erase all the rules for horizontal and vertical translations, and this is something completely different. Um, what we're going to do is, opposed to sliding our figure left and right, we're going to flip it over a particular axis, either x-axis or the y-axis for right now. So when it's a horizontal, what you want to do is use parentheses and apply negative. The negative is what's going to make it reflect. So we're going to put a negative around the whole uh, function and then apply that negative to it. If it's a vertical translation, we're only going to put the negative around the x and then apply it. So in our first example that was done for us here, the reflection about the horizontal line, y is equals 0. And y equals 0 is the x-axis. And what we're going to do is go ahead and take our 3 to the x, apply the parentheses around it, go ahead and put in our negative, and apply that negative to the 3 to the x here. So now we have negative 3 to the x. And that's our answer. Let's take a look at another example here. Now on this one, we've got negative 12x, but the reflection is a vertical line around the x equals 0, which is the y-axis. So to apply that, we will do negative on just the x only. And it's important to put it in parentheses uh, because if you don't, it might look like subtraction. But keep in mind, we want to do a negative x times the negative 12. All right. Now, since we have a negative times a negative, our final answer is just going to be positive. So we'll have a positive 12x. Okay. Now let's look at 23. With 23, we're going to use parentheses because it's horizontal, and we want to do a negative toward the whole thing here. So we're going to take our 2x plus 9, apply the parentheses, put in the negative, and we'll have a negative times 2 to the x plus 9. And that's the answer. Now you could distribute and change the signs here, or you could just leave it just like this. All right, number 20 here, we're going to do 4 to the x, and it is vertical, so we're just going to apply the negative straight to the x here, and we have 4 to the negative x, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Now in 22, what we want to do is have a reflection about the horizontal line, y equals 0, which is going to be the x-axis, and we're going to apply the negative to the whole thing here. So we're going to take the 7x, put it in parentheses, apply the negative, and that's going to leave us with a negative 7x. All right, and number 24, uh, we're going to do a reflection that's a vertical around the x equals 0, which is the y-axis, and we're going to put the negative straight onto the x. So we're going to take the negative 8, did have negative x plus 1. Right. And that is our horizontal and vertical reflections. So remember, with those, you want to do a negative times the parentheses. And with the vertical, you want to do the negative just on the x. And also recap the vertical and horizontal translations. Remember that if it's outside the parentheses, it's going to be vertical, with the positive being up and the negative being down. And if it's inside the parentheses, it's going to be horizontal, with the positive going to the left and negative going to the right. Kind of opposite for horizontal. Okay? I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math and have a nice day.